In a season of global economic struggles and uncertainty, four exceptional Asian nations emerged as roaring tigers. They defied all odds and rewrote their destinies. Once little countries, Singapore, Hong Kong, South Korea, and Taiwan, started on a transformational journey that would eventually leave the world in awe of their astonishing development. Amidst the past turbulence, these nations confronted challenges that tested their resolve. Yet with visionary leadership and unwavering determination, they set out to reshape their fates. Each tiger's narrative is a compelling account of triumph over hardship. From the booming city of Singapore to the dynamic landscapes of Hong Kong, the technological prowess of South Korea, and the manufacturing brilliance of Taiwan. Today, we will kick off with some historical knowledge about the Asian tiger's economies. Then, we will proceed to reveal how the Asian dragons grew into such massive economic powerhouses. Finally, we will end with how their success stories have impacted the global economy. Before we dive in, subscribe to the channel to stay abreast of the world's most exciting economic breakdowns. Our exploration begins with Singapore, a tiny island nation with limited resources. When it attained independence in the 1960s, it was confronted with severe problems. These challenges were high unemployment, extreme poverty, and a lack of infrastructure. But bold leaders like Lee Kuan Yew took over and put strategic plans in place. These moves developed Singapore into a humming international financial center and a vibrant center of commerce in Southeast Asia. Next is the former British territory of Hong Kong. Due to its natural deep-water harbor, Hong Kong's early prosperity was powered by trade and shipping. Over the years, its free market policies and entrepreneurial spirit helped to foster a business-friendly climate. They made it one of the top financial centers and a symbol of economic independence. China designates Hong Kong as a Special Administrative Region, SAR. The Asian Dragon has autonomy in all its operations until 2047, except for defense. At that point, relations between China and Hong Kong will be re-evaluated. According to research data on Investopedia, the area excels in economic liberty. It has obtained a remarkable GDP of almost $340 billion as of December 2020. Furthermore, it has a GDP per capita of $45,180 and a growth rate of 2.9%. Hong Kong is home to 7.6 million people. Looking back at South Korea, we see a country destroyed by war in the early 1950s. Unfazed, South Koreans used their tenacity and diligence to reconstruct their country. They fostered a thriving manufacturing sector through aggressive industrialization and export-focused policies. South Korea became a global economic powerhouse, recognized for its electronic products and vehicles. Taiwan, an island that experienced political unrest and economic difficulties throughout the 20th century, marks the end of this voyage. Despite the obstacles, Taiwan's emphasis on technology innovation and education laid the groundwork for its economic boom. The government promoted research and development investments, which sparked the growth of top-tier semiconductor and technology businesses. Taiwan has prospered over the past 4 decades despite having complicated relations with China. The Asian tiger had a phenomenal GDP per person of $28,180 as of December 2020. Despite pressure from China, the country maintains its independence from the UN, but it has established itself as a reliable exporter. This country, home to 23.6 million people, has emerged as one of the strongest economies in the Asian area. It boasts a strong GDP of $660 billion and a consistent growth rate of 2.5%. 40 years ago, these 4 countries were already on their way to putting their names on the map of countries with leading GDPs. The United States had a GDP of $3.344 trillion, with Japan having $1.135 trillion. South Korea's GDP was the highest among the Asian dragons, with a GDP of $82.8 billion, and Taiwan followed with $51.72 billion. Hong Kong and Singapore's GDPs were the least, with $31.163 billion and $16.889 billion. The Asian tigers profited from their advantageous location and cunning. Their leaders looked forward to a bright future, embraced innovation, and actively pursued global alliances. Their focus on education and skilled workers helped them gain a competitive edge and reach previously unheard-of heights of affluence. These four countries showed remarkable adaptability, quickly altering their economies to fit the shifting global environment. Their success tales exemplify the influence of solid leadership and the readiness to accept economic reforms. They successfully boosted trade, lured foreign investment, and established settings welcoming investors. The Asian tiger's growth proves the human spirit's resilience and capacity for economic growth, even amid insurmountable obstacles. Various factors influenced their economic changes and served as an inspiration for other countries throughout the world. At the heart of their success lies the unyielding determination of their governments to foster an environment conducive to economic growth. The futures of these nations were significantly shaped by proactive and visionary leadership. They have effectively utilized their resources by recognizing and capitalizing on their comparative advantages, strengthening their economies. Education emerges as a cornerstone of their economic blueprints. These countries understood the importance of investing in human capital for long-term development. Their governments placed a high value on education at all levels to equip the labor force with the knowledge and abilities required to accept technical breakthroughs and promote creativity. Their emphasis on education has improved their economies, as well as their reputation on the international scene. The Asian tigers also implemented export-focused economic strategies, which have enabled them to take advantage of possibilities on the world market. They established solid economic linkages with the rest of the globe through strategic alliances and international trade agreements. This foundation started a positive feedback loop of growth. They diversified their economies and lessened reliance on a particular sector by fostering industries with excellent export potential. The main reason for their ongoing economic success has been innovation. These nations made significant R&D investments, promoting an entrepreneurial culture that rewarded innovation and taking chances. They have consistently pushed the bounds of innovation and lifted their economy to new heights by embracing technological breakthroughs and fostering a thriving startup ecosystem. The Asian tigers understood the value of effective government and an efficient infrastructure. They streamlined their operations and decreased inefficiencies. Furthermore, they increased production by investing in contemporary transportation networks, communication systems, and cutting-edge technologies. This strategy positioned them as international trade and business centers by facilitating the smooth exchange of commodities, services, and information. Additionally, their governments actively promoted and provided incentives for FDI, foreign direct investment. They encouraged international firms to establish a presence within their boundaries by fostering an inviting business climate. This infusion of FDI boosted their growth trajectories. It provided capital, new technology, managerial know-how, and access to more significant markets. The economic plans of the Asian tigers have not been without difficulties, though. Urbanization and rapid growth raised issues related to the environment and society. However, their governments showed flexibility in implementing measures to address these problems responsibly, ensuring that advancement remains sustainable. Singapore, Hong Kong, South Korea, and Taiwan are not just economic powerhouses by chance. Their astonishing accomplishments have been largely fueled by their well-planned economic plans. Their methods have been influenced by visionary leadership, strategic planning, education, innovation, and openness to international markets. These lessons are still relevant today, motivating other countries to look for a way to achieve economic prosperity. They have established the Asian tigers as prime examples of what can be accomplished with tenacity and forethought. Through their extraordinary economic success, the Asian tigers, Hong Kong, Singapore, South Korea, and Taiwan, provide priceless lessons to the rest of the globe. These nations distinguished themselves as role models for development for other nations by undergoing rapid industrialization and economic growth. They have had a huge impact on the global economy, changing the dynamics of international trade and igniting developing economies. The Asian tigers saw unheard-of economic growth rates between the 1960s and 1990s, with Singapore leading the pack with an average growth rate of 8.0%, followed by Hong Kong 7.8%, South Korea 7.6%, and Taiwan 6.7%. Their gross domestic products, GDPs, experienced a striking increase due to this boom. For instance, the GDP of South Korea increased from $2.7 billion in 1960 to more than $267 billion in 1990. Similarly, Singapore's GDP increased from $580 million to over $372 billion during the same period. Policymakers, economists, and analysts worldwide have been fascinated by the economies of Singapore, Hong Kong, South Korea, and Taiwan. The globe has gathered invaluable knowledge to create successful development plans by examining the causes of their rapid emergence. The influence of the Asian tigers' success can be observed in their FDI outflows. As their economies grew, these countries started investing abroad, opening up new markets and supporting industries worldwide. With significant investments in industries including manufacturing, finance, and technology, Hong Kong, Singapore, South Korea, and Taiwan, and their FDI outflows by 2021 totaled more than $1.2 trillion. This influx of capital stimulated the economies of Asia, Africa, and Latin America, resulting in the growth of the industrial sector and the creation of jobs. Additionally, the Asian tigers acted as role models for other emerging countries hoping to achieve similar success. A number of Southeast Asian nations, including Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam, pursued similar economic policies. This influence resulted in their own economic transformations and their entry into the category of emerging market economies. The flying geese paradigm shows how effective economic models may be applied and modified to different situations, promoting regional development and growth. These Asian countries demonstrated adaptation and resilience in the face of difficulties. They reacted swiftly to shifting global dynamics, such as changes in global trade patterns, technological developments, and economic upheavals. They could pivot, strengthening their positions as active actors in the international economic sphere. Besides, it allowed them to stay flexible and take advantage of new opportunities. The Asian tigers developed booming financial hubs and invented cutting-edge technology. They raised their economies to dizzying heights via a convergence of intellect, investment, and inventive policies. Their accomplishments caused a global reverberation, spurring several developing countries in Southeast Asia and beyond to follow in their footsteps. If you enjoyed this stimulating video, click the like button on your screen. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your thoughts in the comments section.